Hello and thank you for joining me, Almost Immortal, as I play All the Mods 9 to the sky. It's been a very long journey, but I think we're almost there to getting the All the Mods Star. The only thing we're missing is the Nexium emitter, and to get that, we just need the mechanical arm from Create. So in this video, I'm going to focus on how to create these, which is going to require the precision mechanism, and how we're going to automate these so that we can get a bunch of them in our inventory. Once that's done, I will create 18 Nexium emitters, because I believe we have all the other items ready. And then we will craft the All the Mods Star using the summoning altar. So let's jump right into Create. What we need is the mechanical arm, and things like the brass plate and the andesite alloy are pretty easy to get by just auto crafting. We can make andesite using EMC now, so that's not a problem at all. And the brass plates, we can use the ore hammers alongside the millions of brass that we've got from Mystical Agriculture to make as many of those as we like. The brass casing is a different matter. We need to put a log down and then put a brass ingot on it. Just right click with it and it'll turn it into a brass casing. But first, you need to strip the log. Let me show you. I need to do some of these for brass and some of these for andesite anyway, so I may as well get them now. What we do, I'll create a bunch of these oak logs using EMC. And then just pop some out. We'll need some brass, and we'll also need some andesite alloy. So that should do it for the brass. I'll use the Unobtainium Axe and FTB Ultimine, and I'll just right click, and that turns them all into stripped oak logs. And then we just need to go around, and if I press and hold right click with the brass ingots, it just turns them all into these brass casings. It's exactly the same for the andesite casings, except we use andesite alloy. Now I'll do the same for the andesite. Now that we have both of those, we need to make the precision mechanism. This uses a gold plate, and it needs 5 passes on deployers that are using cogwheels, large cogwheels, and then finally iron nuggets in a series. So we need to put them in, let them deploy each, and then take them out, and then put them back in at the beginning. I'm going to try and make a little setup that's quite compact that I saw on YouTube, and I think it was done by MC Mentor. I'll also incorporate some AE2 to filter in the cogwheels and the iron nuggets, and also the gold plates. Hopefully we can get this working. I've done this before using a different setup, but it didn't work as well as what this one looks like, so let's see. First thing we need is these deployers. These are easy enough to make. The andesite casings we just made, brass hands, which andesite alloy and brass plates, and then an electron tube. We can get iron plates easy enough, but the polished rose quartz that we need to make that is just rose quartz in an enrichment chamber, and we get rose quartz from nether quartz and redstone. I've already got all the parts for that, so I'll make the 3 that I need. This also calls for item vaults, a couple of chests, a mechanical belt, some brass funnels, and some hoppers. And then we also need a list filter, which I've never used before, but it seems simple enough. I'm going to set this up over here, which is near my Draconic Evolution setup, and it appears simple enough. I think it's just pop 2 of these together, and then another 2. That makes 4. And then it's 3 wide, like that. So you need 12 item vaults. And then we need a shaft just on the outsides of these, and then a mechanical belt that goes to it there. On this side, it's just a chest. Next, we need a way to power it. And we're going to need one of these, a vertical gearbox, which we will put just here. Then it'll need a shaft because we're going to want the deployers to be up here in front of it. On top of the shaft, we want to put an encased chain drive. We want it like that. And then coming off this, we want another one. If you click it there, it'll have this sort of shape. And that just means that it will connect with it. It also means that we can put the deployers on this side. The deployers have to be facing down, not like that. Just like that. And we have to have this side facing forwards. Just like that. Because hoppers go on the back of these because they're going to feed into it, which is going to be the cogwheel, the large cogwheel, and the iron nuggets. And then we also want to put the brass funnels. One there. One there. You have to shift right click on that one so that it points inwards. This one points outwards. That's the little arrow there. And then shift right click again here for that one to go into that chest. For powering this, we could use the water wheel that we used when we did the encased fan setup, which we did when we first started this world. What I want to do instead is make an electric motor, which is this. We should, I believe, be able to hook this up to our flux network and power it that way instead of having to use the rotational force. To make that, though, we need mechanical crafters, which are just these. The crafters are things we're going to need in the future to create the ATM Star anyway. So let's get this set up and make a motor. I think it's 3 like that. And then the next one has 1 more like that either side. And then it's 3 again. And then 1 in the middle. So it's a capacitor at the bottom. And then the 3 either side like that is brass plates. We have a iron rod in the middle. Copper spools on the outside. And an andesite alloy at the top. Now you have to be sure to make these move in the right direction. So I'm going to get each of these to meet upwards like that. And they'll all meet in the middle here. And then I think we just need to power it with a water wheel. Just like that. And then the items just push together and they should meet in the middle to form the motor. Might have to direct it to an end. There we go. That's our motor. So then we should be able to pop that there. And then we just add some power to that. Put it on our network. And let it have as much power as it likes. And there we go. That's moving. You can right click and hold on this and increase the speed. That might be a bit too fast. Then we just need to feed some gold plates. First, I'm going to set up some auto exporters on here for the items that we need coming from our network. So I'll just take a cable from here. Pop it either side of the hoppers. And then we'll get an export bus exporting the items we need. In all 3 of them, I'm going to put a crafting card because we want to make sure we've got enough of the items, and if we run out, it'll make more. Pop some acceleration cards in there as well. And then in the first one, we want a cogwheel. In the second one, we want the large cogwheel. And then the third one, we want an iron nugget. And they should start to fill up. And there we go. That's those items on there. And then we need another hopper here, which will be feeding onto the mechanical belt. And we'll have another export bus. That goes there, and then we just need to feed that a gold plate. Again, a crafting card. I just need to make sure that we've got the auto craft for the gold plate. Hook that up here. Give that one acceleration card. And then we need to take one of these because it's not complete yet. And then what we'll do is right click on the list filter, pop this in here. What we want to do is make sure that the ignore data button is clicked here because that ignores the durability and any data attached to it. So as long as it's an incomplete one, it will filter it. We want to put that here so that only the incomplete ones go in there. Any that are complete, the precision mechanisms, will instead go into this big chest here. Any that break or don't work properly, because I think there's only a percentage chance that they will convert, those will also go in here. So we can set up another filter to either pop them back in or to put them back in our network if it's like a cogwheel or something. Now we just wait for them to finish. We could try and speed this up. And as you can see, the item vault has lots of incomplete precision mechanisms. Those will start to feed out slowly. I will turn this off now because I think we've got enough in there. And we'll see if any of the other ones can finish. Now that there's space, you can see those are coming out and then being deployed to the next one. And we have 3 completed precision mechanisms already. 4 now. Now we just leave that to do its thing. We need 18 of them to be able to make the 18 mechanical arms we're after. So that shouldn't take long. We've already got 13 there, so brilliant. There we go, there's 21 in there already. And that's all the mechanical arms needed. And then the remaining one was just the Nexium emitter. And that is all 18 Nexium emitters. And to be honest, that's about as far into create as I wanted to get, because I don't think we really need anything else. So with that in mind, I can probably just let this finish the ones it's got and then not touch it again for now. I will take the electric motor at some point and make a bigger area for the mechanical crafters. And that'll be for when we get the ATM shards, so that we can make the ATM Stars automated. Now let's just have a check that we've got all the items that we need. So we have 18 Nexium emitters, Dragon Souls, Dimensional Seeds, Wither's Compass, Pulsating Black Hole, Philosopher's Fuel, Improbable Probability Device, and Oblivion Shards. I've also put a Nether Star block underneath the summoning altar that we need. And there's 18 red matter there to be used as the input item. The only thing we need now is a Warden Sacrifice, and we can use the Skulk Cores to summon those right next to the altar. Before I move on to actually making the ATM Star, I thought this would be a good time to have a break and discuss the vision for my channel. I haven't done this yet in my videos because they're only short videos, and I really wanted to get across most of the topics that were intended for them, as opposed to ranting on about what, I'm going to do in the future. But since we're almost at the end of this one, I thought it was a good time. About a year ago, I started writing my own book, and I'm happy to say it's almost finished. It'll be published soon, and what I always intended for this channel, Almost Immortal Tales, was to play games and read my stories. So in the future, when I do some longer videos or when I do videos prettifying areas up, I would like to start reading chapters from my books. I have a few story ideas in the works, and as I say, one's ready to be published, so hopefully I'll be able to give you sneak peeks of those on here. I'd be interested to have input from all of you and see what you guys are interested in. And I'd also like some feedback on my books when you do hear them. For my next set of videos, I'm thinking about moving on to some 100 days. And one I've got in mind is the Chunk by Chunk mod pack, where you can generate chunks with different biomes and essentially make a big skyblock like this. The reason I chose a skyblock is because my laptop's an older one and it doesn't run the most intensive things. So I didn't want to have you guys bear through all the lagging that I've had to deal with in the past when I've tried to play things like All the Mods 9 or All the Mods 10. So I stuck to the skies. When I do eventually upgrade in the future, I will move on to some bigger packs and hopefully we'll have some fancy graphics too. If you have any input or any ideas for my future videos that you'd like to see, don't hesitate to leave a comment. Always happy to hear from you guys. Now that I've got that out there, let's move on to the ATM Star. The last thing we need for the star is a Warden Sacrifice. So we can do that a couple of ways. The quest says to use one of these Skulk cores in a Skulk Shrieker, and it will make them summon when you bother them. You can also just come over here and we can use the items that we used to grab them like we did last time. Like the Mob Yoinker, each of these, or the Mob Imprisonment Tool, like this. What I'll do is I'll take one of these Skulk Shriekers, pop it next to the Summoning Altar, and then we'll pop a Skulk Core in it. We'll pick that up with our Silk Touch. For ease, I'll just put this here, and then I'll use the core on it, and now that should summon one whenever we bother it enough. We'll need one each of the items that we've been working towards, and then we just need to pop those in one by one, leaving the red matter till last. We also need to agitate this a little bit just until we can get a Warden to summon. There we are. So we'll pop one of each of these in. Get the Warden to come over here. Pop that in. It kills it. And then we should get, there we go, an ATM Star. That's our very first. And what we'll do is we'll put this here as a filter and whitelist that. So when it's done now, it should go straight into our network. Let's give it a try. Have to get this a little bit closer. There we are. Look at that. That's a star in the network as well. So now we've got 2. I'll do all 18 of these, and then we'll look at making the blocks, and then the Starry Bee. There we go. That's all 18 of the ATM Stars. Let's turn those into 2 blocks. With that done, we've now got the All the Mods trophy. That's essentially the mod pack done. We can move on now to creative, where we can get infinite resources such as power, source, and mana. And we can also get more ATM stars using the Starry Bee, which is why we wanted 2 of the blocks, because we need 1 to be able to make the bee and 1 for the bee to be able to make Star Shards. The bee is a simple one. We just give one of the ATM Star blocks to a Patrick Bee, which we can get from fishing. I've already got one of these because I got one while I was fishing for the water bee donkeys ago. What I'll do is I'll pop an ATM Star block in this feeding stab, which used to have the wasted radioactive bees in, but I had 2 hives of this and I've got plenty of wasted radioactive combs now. And I'll go make the Starry Bee. Patrick Bee there. Give it a block. There's our Starry Bee. I'll also give it the genes with the treats. So it's very high productivity, any weather tolerance, and metaternal behavior. And now this can go in its hive. Wonderful. Now all we need is several more of the Patrick bees, and we can make more. We can also pop the Patrick bee in here because we're going to need that to be able to make the shards into stars. As you can see here, to make the star, we need one big mechanical crafting unit with a Patrick star in the middle. And to get the Patrick star, we could make it out of blocks, or we can get that using the Patrick combs, which we get from the Patrick bee. I will give this a head start, though, just so that we can get some of the shards in our network. I've just been fishing to get a Patrick bee. These make the Patrick stars that we need for the ATM stars that are made in the Mechanical Crafters. This is pretty much all we need now. Next is just to build up the Mechanical Crafters. I've reclaimed this area just over here. And let's set this up. So it goes 3 like that. And then we have a space of 3 there. And then another 3. Above that, we want to start here, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the same on this side. And then the next row, it's 1 in here. Just like that. And then following on, same again. But then the next time we go 1 out. And then again, 1 out. And then I think this one is the same size. And then it's 3 in the middle here. Which I think is that one, and that one. There we go. I just missed one off the side there. And then it's 1 at the top. Just like that. Let's double check. And the top one should meet down there. Yep. 3 up from the bottom. So that one should be the Patrick Star. And the rest of them should all be Star Shards. So what I'll do is I'm going to set up a little auto export. So I'll start off by having an area for my network to export to. Pop that there. And then pop a chest there. Then I'm going to need some pipes from the chest to all the other areas here. Just like this. To all of them except the one that's 3 up here, which will be the Patrick Star. These are going to be for the ATM Star Shards. Because this only has 1, we'll just add an export bus there. And we'll set that to the Patrick Stars. I'll give it a couple of acceleration cards. It doesn't really need them because it's only exporting 1, but I like them to be fast. And then from this here, we're going to add the ATM Star Shards, which are just these here. And we'll add those in. This should start filling up, yep. Then we just need to wrench this to keep it open. And we'll add one of these ultimate pipe upgrades. And that's it, look at that. We also need to make sure these go to the right area. I've got this set up so that all the bottom ones go up and meet in the middle one here, which is where the Patrick Star will be. It's the same on this side. They come up and across and up and across and up until they get to here. All the ones on the top right hand side move to the left, and all the ones on the left move to the right, meeting here. And this one will push it up, and eventually they'll all meet at this very top one, which will feed out onto this depot. Next, we just want a way to import whatever puts into the depot. So I'll pop a connection here to my network. And we'll just use an import bus. We'll also pop one here. Now, that should export a Patrick Star. That's brilliant. I don't know if this will work, but we can find out. The only thing left to do for this was to power it. And I've been trying to get my electric motor to get it going, and it keeps coming up and saying that it's overstressed. After a little bit of Googling, I found out that you actually need more than one of the electric motors to get this going. From what I saw, each one can do 16 mechanical crafters, and as soon as you add a 17th, it overstresses. But it seems that two of these works quite well together to keep it going. So now let's see if we've put this together right. If we've done this right, this should creep to the top and exit out on the depot. Would you look at that? And it does exit, and it goes there. Now let's see if it's in our network. Brilliant. So those, as long as we have the star shards now, should just continue to make more stars. Let's see if we can speed this up. And that is full speed. It looks like we've got quite a few of the ATM Star Shards in our chest, so we should be able to get quite a few of the stars. Soon enough, we'll be able to get more of the Starry Bees, which will increase our production of these Star Shards. But to be honest, we don't really need that. We've been going maybe a minute, and we've already got 10 of them. So I think we're good. All we need these stars for now is to be able to do all the creative stuff. But let's be fair, that's the end. We could get infinite power, and we could even go for a 9 times ATM Star block. But I think that's a bit excessive. All of my Star Shards are now used up, and I'm slowly making more with the Starry Bee. And we've ended up with 24 ATM Stars. And that's on top of the 2 blocks that we already got from using the summoning altar. I think that's it for today. It's been such a journey. We've gone all the way from absolutely nothing, just a small patch of dirt and a tree, and look at what we've got. I've learned so much, and with this being my first YouTube series, it's been quite eventful. I'm really eager to start the next one. If you've stuck with me through this until now, I really do appreciate it. And if you've watched all the other videos and you've followed me through my All the Mods 9 to the Sky journey, I'm very, very grateful. Hopefully, in the near future, I'll be sharing chapters from my new book. If you have any recommendations, or if there's anything that you'd like to see on my channel in the future, such as 100 days, or if there's particular worlds that you want me to try out, just let me know. Until then, it's goodbye from me.